Bing, 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 bing. We're live. We're here actually in a hangout today for for effect and fun. It is the Mountain Fast Scrum, and it is a Thursday, and we have Lara and Brent and Michael and Praveen and Sam, and I got a good fair amount done yesterday. Yeah, I actually had a big pairing session with Fowler on async voter, and yeah, we kind of got a spike of fixing up some security holes in that. It was good fun. Also trying to make progress on this private project I've got, which is using Electron and natural language processing and stuff. Lots to do there. I'm a bit crazed, and I was like, oh, I must go to sleep and get up and do lots of things this morning, and I've totally overslept, and everything's a bit of a shambles. So there we go. Things that we've got: the marketing meeting coming up. We've got the local support meeting later on today. I guess the main block for me is that this website one fixes that I thought was going to make it like less like this multiple posting stuff that we have going on. I thought that was going to be fixed, and it seems like it's not. So that's kind of a annoying block, and I don't know if I'm going to have time to look at it. But we'll have the website one meeting tomorrow, and we'll have a look at that then. That's my update. I think Brent was in first. Hey, Brent, how are things going with you?
Yep, good, thanks. Been progressing the Michael Hartle course, which is really interesting.
Wonderful.
Also trying to get my head around Jasmine. So I've been working with Fernando on the Google Maps tests.
Mm-hmm.
I've not made any progress, but I did speak to Fernando yesterday evening, and he said he has. So we're hoping to have another session this afternoon, and he's going to show me what he's done, and hopefully we can do a little bit more. And that's just before the local support meeting, so we may well even join the local support meeting and have an update for you. Great.
Excellent. Sounds good. Let's go on to I'm going to go through the list here. Lara, how are things going with you?
Hey, good, thanks, Sam. From my side, I've just what did I do yesterday? Was the mobbing session for Alexia.
That's right.
Which was fun. I carried on after that, just carrying on going through the book. Then this morning on my time, I helped or worked a bit with Praveen on his cucumber passing test.
Wonderful.
And yeah, I've just been learning some Scrum stuff for my Scrum certification in about 3 weeks' time. I have no blockers, and that's me.
Great, thanks, Lara. Excellent. Let's go on. We've got a double Michael, Michael squared. How are things going with you, Michael? Yes, Michael might be having connection trouble.
Hello?
Oh, hey, Michael. Yeah. How are
Hey.
things going with you?
Good. So I'm just... Oh, really? Okay. So, I'm just actually doing in the background here, I'm trying to get predictions. Are we going to pair later today?
That is the plan. I have a slot available for you if you're
At
free.
10.
Uh-huh.
In 3 hours
Right.
or so?
Yep.
Okay. So, I guess I could show you what I've done while you were away or whatever.
Yeah, I'll be interested to look at it. I've also got some updates on the predictions and using the predictions. So yeah, I think we'll have a lot to chat about.
Okay.
Cool. Anything blocking you?
Not really.
Good to hear. Nice one. Well, I look forward to catching up with you in that next. We've got the face-to-face session in about just under 3 hours now. Excellent. Let's go on to Praveen. Hey, Praveen, how are you doing?
Sam, so I completed the PR with Cucumber test with help of Lara there.
Fantastic.
And I will start now working on that deactivated user .500 story.
Excellent. So nothing blocking you then. I mean, just you need the pull request reviewed, and then all good, huh?
Yes, all good.
Excellent. All right. Thank you, Praveen. Great. Let's go on. We've got Subota as well. How are things going with you?
Thank you. I'm fine. great event occurred. Yesterday I picked a story,
Oh yeah.
and today it is in the accepted session, in accepted section.
Oh, okay.
So this is the story I shared the link to in the chat.
Uh-huh.
A bug with double show in some warning for administrator. I like this story for two reasons. First, it looks feasible to fix, and this looks like flow of control problem. Somewhere we're entering twice or without intention, and we are really lucky to have this visible effect of the issue, because this is obviously not the only thing we are doing twice. And the question is, what else are we doing twice that we do not see?
Uh-huh.
So,
Yes, yes. And so no, let me just back you up there and say, right, so this is for the local support project. Now, yeah, the item that you flagged here, this is in the what should we say? This is in the, like, it's in the current iteration there. It's waiting for acceptance rejection from the client. Now, this is an odd one in as much as I think that the bug has been fixed. So Elena previously fixed this. The reason that it's not in the, you know, that it hasn't been accepted, rejected, is because we haven't actually replicated it on, we haven't confirmed that it's actually fixed on production. And that's partly because we haven't had any new proposed organizations for quite a long time. So we haven't been able to sort of actively check that the bug is fixed. And it's sort of, it's an odd one that's hanging around there that I could just press accept on, but I'm kind of a bit, I keep on like sitting down with the client and, you know, when we have the meeting every 2 or 3 weeks and saying, okay, yeah, let's just double check that this problem has gone away. We know it's gone away on staging where we tested it, but it's difficult to test it on production without introducing sort of dummy data into the production system, which we don't want to do. So that's why that's there. Does that make sense, Subota?
yes, I didn't quite understand. Did we manage to reproduce it at all?
Yeah, we managed to reproduce. So I think Elena wrote a test that checked for it, and then, you know, this is gosh, who are we talking to recently? Yeah, this is particularly Praveen. We were talking about yesterday in the Scrum how when you find a bug, the critical first step is to write a test that generates the bug, that reliably generates the bug, so that you can know when it's been fixed. So we did all of that, and it got, you know, pushed out. It's just that the circumstance of when the bug occurs is very specific to situation that is not occurring very frequently on this system. So we can perhaps discuss it further at the end of the Scrum or in local support. I guess, were you hoping, Subota, to have a vote on a story? Was that part of your idea of selecting this item?
This is my primary goal for today, at least, to vote on something. As far as I understood, it's too late to vote on this issue. And
yeah, so this one's already been voted on, and it's already, I mean, sometimes things can be re-voted on, but this is that sort of too far down the chain for an additional vote. But yeah, okay. So let's just say, so before we further discuss that, I think that's our Scrum then. Did anybody have any other issues blocking them or want to arrange a pairing session at all?
No, I'm fine.
In which case, yeah, we could have a little further discussion. I'm tempted, Subota, to say, you know, if you're very keen to vote on a story, maybe come to the local support meeting later today. Do you think you could make the local support meeting, or is that a bad time for you?
I don't think so. I'm on East Coast time in US, and it's work time. I can.
I see. Okay. All right. No,
I can connect from the premises outside.
Yes. Yes. So in that case, then, I mean, obviously, people who need to go and move on and are not interested in voting, please feel free to do so. But yeah, if you can't make the local support meeting later today, then what we could do is try and find an item to vote on for you, Subota. I'm very happy to do that. Yeah, I just want to look at the icebox here. I guess we've got Lokesh. That's just sort of Lokesh reporting a random issue there. Oh, okay, we've got one here. Fix code climate issues in application controller. Use guard clause. Well, this is a refactoring issue that we could have a little look at there. Yeah, so let's if we can, maybe we can have a little vote on this story. This is a nice, I think should be, well, shouldn't say how simple or complex it's going to be. I think this could be a good one for an example vote. I'm going to start getting the voting app working in the local support channel. you should people. Well, I guess I'll put. Yeah, let me post that. This is like use guard clause, and so this is a refactoring ticket. Code Climate has, which is our automated system for looking for code smells, has found an issue there, and so I guess I'll also post the link into the group chat there. Do that. Yeah, so this is a little story about using a guard clause. Now, in many projects, something like a refactoring or even a bug wouldn't have a vote on it, a number on it. But we in our setup, people previously coming into the project have said, "Oh, it would be nice to have, voting on the bugs and chores like refactoring things in order for us to understand how difficult or easy they might be to work on." And so we've gone against what Pivotal usually recommends and introduced points for bugs and chores. Pivotal thinks that's kind of bad because you're kind of, in your assessment of your velocity, which is how many points worth of stories you're doing each week, if you include the bugs and chores, that's not really progress from their point of view. But because of our distributed, volunteer coming and going, this, that, and the other, we don't really pay too much attention to the velocity, and we don't really worry about that too much. There seems to be more value from actually voting on these things. But so let's have a little look at the Code Climate issue there. Is everybody familiar with this term guard clause? Which can we see if it's in here? Guard clause. We've got this, style guard clause. Use a guard clause instead of wrapping the code inside a conditional expression. Is everybody familiar with the terms in this statement? Was that a no, Lara?
Yeah, that was a no.
Similar to sentinel value.
Yeah. And so there's this particular term is the guard clause. Now, I think we're probably all familiar with the term conditional and if statements and so on. And I think actually here, so this is maybe a bit small, but you can. I think if we click through, actually, we can also see it. It's not actually a hyperlink, but so Code Climate is using, what is it called here? It's using Rubicop under the hood, and so it's got here avoid use of nested conditionals. Yeah, this is a more complex example here, but so this is a set of normal conditionals here. We can see if something, do this. Then we've got, and they're saying, well, that's this nested conditional. So if statements inside if statements like this is kind of a poor design choice. Not always, but all these smells, they're all sort of a 6 of one, half dozen of the other. But it's saying here that we prefer using these things here, which are called guard clauses. And what they mean is that rather than doing if one thing and then the other, we kind of say basically, in this case, we've got the unless, which is of course if not. We check the thing that we care about and basically just get, we just sort of immediately return and avoid the need for the nested conditional, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, for me it makes sense because we are reducing cyclomatic complexity of algorithm, at least at the point of view of human perception.
Yes. I mean, I think that, so the cyclomatic complexity being a mathematical measure of complexity, I think that the big strong reason is, as you're sort of saying, it's like that that humans will find this easier to read and understand than the more complex nested if statements. Is the idea, of course. So if we go on.
You can read it in one pass, which is not the case with ifs. You have to jump back and forth to understand what's going on.
Right, particularly if you have multiple if and else, and then you have nested clauses. And so I think actually Lokesh, who reported this, he was just, he had an even simpler version here where we can say, oh, I didn't want to do that, where this code structure here is kind of a standard if statement, but we have this, we can use this, what, ternary? It's not really ternary, is it? Yeah, no, it's ternary is a different one. But if we have the if statement sort of afterwards and the thing that we want to do in front of it, then that's the guard clause. And so presumably this would point to somewhere, well, it's in, the Code Climate will tell us. It can tell us where, oh yeah, we've got here, this is in our applications controller, we've got something about, oh, it's not actually taking me to the code. Anyway, but so basically what it's going to involve us doing is going into the application controller in local support, which I might just do and have a look at because it might seem like a relatively straightforward change based on the examples that we're seeing there from Rubicop. But if we have a look at the application controller, we may find that the situation is a little more complicated. So we should at least look at the code where it's flagged this. So we've got this whitelisted. Include. Okay, so it's basically, I think it's highlighting here where we've got this single if statement, and it's saying we should prefer to use a guard clause there, and it's not that deeply nested. So anyway, are people interested? Obviously, some people have already voted, as an indication that I'm talking too much, as usual. Does anybody have any further questions about this issue before we complete the vote?
No, thanks.
All right.
Get clear now, thank you.
All right. So if people would like to go ahead and make their votes,
this would be great.
And so of course one needs to get into the local support channel and slap on one of those things there. And I think what I'll say as that's going on in the background, I think what's important as well with these automated things is that we shouldn't treat this as the rules too much. Like the code climate via Rubicop is going to suggest something, and we need to, take that with a pinch of salt. It's kind of, they're good guidelines to follow, but we shouldn't, always be following them. Sometimes it doesn't necessarily quite make sense, and so often people can feel, oh right, this is rules. I must correct all these things. Sometimes the correct approach is to adjust the code style or you can even set individual parts of your code to ignore the particular code styles. So I think we've had a vote from everybody except Subota. Are you having trouble finding the local support environment?
Yeah, I cannot log into the chat. I have another suggestion regarding this issue. I think there is another factor which would be even better. I mean, combined with guard clause, we could name our conditional. So can we return to the place in the code?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
So what does it mean really that the request controller is whitelisted and request verb is get?
Mm-hmm.
What is the human readable sense of these two conditions combined together? Is it we are permitted to do something, or is it what? We could assign it to a local variable and then say session previous URL equals request.fullpath if variable. This could be maybe more readable, because combining these two in one line would be sort of too much, as of my point of view.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I think probably the detailed discussion of how we might actually change it is, this is maybe not the place for it. I mean, I can see that there's a longer discussion we could get into there. Yeah, I mean, certainly one could be rewriting this two-part conditional as a different thing, getting into it. I think that we would probably want to leave that to the person who was choosing to implement the item. There's a lot of variation that one could do here. What I was just going to do was maybe try and give you a link to the chat environment. I guess if everybody else has done their kind of anonymous vote now, Subota, but so what I will do, you could, like, here is a link that will take you, I think we did previously invite you into the Slack channel for local support. I've just put this, if you want to click directly on this link, that should take you there and allow you to vote. But I think what I'm going to go and do in order to save time is I'm going to go ahead and hit reveal, and you can maybe just tell us your vote if you can't quickly get into the environment there. So I'm going to click reveal, and we'll see that we're all saying simple. Now, I guess then, so would you agree that this is a relatively simple fix?
Yes, definitely. So
okay, good show. Well, I think that allows us then to set that as a one. Now, I don't mean to dismiss the point that you were making there, Subota, about, there are various different ways to adjust this. It may be more than just changing to a guard clause. It could be trying to rewrite this so that it's more comprehensible, and I think that would be a valuable part of doing this refactoring. But so yeah, that's now voted on. Has it moved? Fix it. Yeah. So now we can move that onto the backlog. I think it ends up being relatively low priority. Any chore is, from the client's perspective, not going to be critical. So we'll put that on the bottom there. But if you wanted to start working on this, Subota, you should feel free to click the start button on that. We know that you're interested in it, and you know, we'll help you get a pull request in if you'd like to do so.
Okay, just a moment. Get diff shows, fix issues. I lost that issue. Where is it?
No, okay. Well, don't worry. What I'll do is I will post the link to the issue again in there. I think we'll call the Scrum to this is like the post Scrum, the after Scrum. It sounds almost like an after party, but not quite as much fun. Well, no, it's still fun. I love it personally. Well, as long as I'm talking, I've got to go and stop myself and make a cup of tea, get ready for the marketing meeting. So glad that we were able to fit in a vote for you there, since you won't be able to make the local support meeting later on today. I'll continue to be around in Slack. Please do feel free to reach out. You are in the. You have like no access to the Slack at all at the moment.
No, I'm in the chat. I managed to switch the channel to the proper one.
Okay. Oh, great. Yes. So if you're in the channel, you should also see that when we did the vote, even after we've revealed the vote, you should still be able to see the link to the actual. This is kind of like why the vote is kind of nice. We end up with the history of the vote and you know, the link to the vote as well. Another thing that we can do there, just for record keeping, is indicate that we had a vote on this and that everybody voted simple. For reference, when we discovered that it's actually really complicated and we were all like, wow, what were we thinking? It was actually really hard, or what have you. There we go. So, right, I'm going to make my cup of tea. I'll stop the broadcast there. Everybody feel free